Well, well, well. Ding Dong 343 is dead, and who'd have thought it? This truly marks the end of an infamous era defined by broken promises, regretful decisions, and furious fans, and in turn the beginning of a brand new and hopefully far less depressing chapter for the series. So to explain if you haven't seen it already, the newly rebranded Halo Studios dropped an exciting update looking to the future of the Halo franchise, providing our first look at what they've been working on after Infinite and the subsequent cancellation of its failed 10-year plan. So first, and probably most significantly, is the official confirmation of the switch to Unreal Engine 5, away from what was at its core essentially the same ancient engine from Halo 1. We've known about this change for quite a while now, but this announcement also came with the first glimpse of what 343, no, that's gonna take some getting used to. The first glimpse of what Halo Studios has been creating with the new toolsets at their disposal. Project Foundry, as they called it, is not a game, but simply a testbed to exercise the possibilities UE provides the designers. And yet it does look pretty spectacular. The classic art style is on point here, a promising sign of things to come. And if they can actually make a Halo game that looks this graphically impressive, it would honestly be pretty breathtaking. Although I have to caveat myself and recall the Halo Infinite reveal, which aimed to be a similar demonstration of the new Slipspace engine, and what we got in the end was nothing even close to what that trailer suggested would be possible. And that's obviously because of a whole load of other reasons, and the technical nightmares they experienced making Infinite shouldn't be as much of an issue when using a third-party engine rather than cobbling together their own unreliable one. But my point is just to remain cautious and state that I'll believe it when I'm actually playing it. If Halo Studios have their wits about them, I'm positive they wouldn't show this off if they didn't believe that they can make a Halo game that looks like this. Because if it doesn't end up being as impressive, everyone will just use this demo against them, arguing that this was what we were originally promised, and they failed to deliver on. But it does seem as though, from what I can ascertain, this new look studio does have their heads screwed on right, and so much of what they're saying here sounds really promising. So in terms of the appearance of these environments, while I do think they look great, I do however have a few precautionary reservations. Firstly, I think they need to be careful to not make the environments look too busy and overcrowded. Part of what makes Halo great to play is the visibility of the enemies and the environments. Infinite absolutely nailed this, so I hope it's something they carry forwards and you don't end up being unable to properly see what you're shooting at, because the screen is overwhelmingly clogged up with so many plants and decorations. I just hope they don't prioritize the ultra-realistic environments that Unreal can offer over the art style and gameplay, because at the end of the day, those are still the most important things. Secondly, this just reminds me so much of those Halo in Unreal fan projects. I mean, yeah, no shit, that's because it is Halo in Unreal, so I can't really criticize it for that, but it just kind of removes a certain sense of legitimacy in my head. I'm sure this is something I'd get over if there was actual gameplay to see, but yeah, that's just what it reminds me of most of all. So thirdly, and I'm sure this is something they'll be well aware of as this is only a test, but I really want them to acknowledge that Halo is so much more than just a Halo ring with a beam emitter. Make sure we see some crazier environments and locations, because this is certainly pretty, but I had my fill of these in Infinite. Go nuts with it and make something new, because while it's a good thing that they're staying faithful to the past, Halo has to try and evolve again past that second mission of CE. Bungie did it in the 2000s, but those in charge seem to have forgotten about the spectacular achievements of their later games, and are instead obsessed with recreating the familiar feeling of Halo 1. But the last game that wasn't trying to do that, Halo 5, was nearly a decade ago, so I'm already kind of bored of this. Just let me fight scarabs again, for God's sake. But for now, I suppose I have faith that Halo Studios can evolve the franchise in the way Bungie did. And judging from some of these scenes they're showing off, they've already demonstrated more environmental variety and creativity in this 5-minute video than in the whole of Halo Infinite. So that is something to praise. And I suppose that now brings me to the other major reveal from this update, that being the death of 343 and the birth of Halo Studios. I genuinely think this is a really smart move. 343 Industries had 3 swings and 3 misses at making a Halo game, so consumers' trust in their ability to not dramatically screw things up in some way was honestly unsalvageable at this point. And that's just proven by this comment I got only the other day in my Infinite review. Check that out after this, by the way. As Douchebaggins here, rather justifiably doesn't want to buy anything from 343 ever again. People have just been burned too many times. The same goes for hiring talent. They need the best of the best to want to work on Halo, but the horror stories that have come out of 343 and the grim lack of success that they've had will only deter people from working there. So the rebranded Halo Studios represents a vital fresh start, with a new engine, with what appears to be a vastly new team, because Microsoft fired most of the old developers, and of course a first for the studio with multiple new projects in development. What those projects will turn out to be, I'm not sure, although I know one surely has to be the rumoured Halo CE remake. They wouldn't raise fans' expectations by showing Chief CE armor, only to never put it in a game, so I think that one's a given. And honestly, it just makes a lot of sense, even if I did just say I'm getting bored of the Halo 1 nostalgia. Remake CE, restore the faith in the franchise while learning how to make Halo in Unreal, and then we're in full swing with experimental spin-offs to evolve the franchise and maybe even a Halo 7 that can really get things back on track. It's definitely wishful thinking on my part, but either way, I think the future looks bright and has a lot of potential. I'm extremely apprehensive to get too excited, however, because we have been through this before only to be disappointed, but they had to start somewhere after Infinite. And I will say, for what it's worth, this is a very promising introduction for Halo Studios. I for one am truly rooting for them to get things right, and I cautiously hope that they can give the franchise we love the renaissance that it truly deserves, and that we all know it still can be capable of achieving. Thanks for watching this video if you still are. So this is actually my second channel, and I have part 1 of my Halo Infinite review available on the main one, so check it out to discover where that game started to go so very wrong. Hopefully Halo Studios don't make those same mistakes again. The full Halo critique will be out at some point, and there's more videos to come soon, both on What's the Point and on this second channel, Pointless, where I can make lower effort and hopefully more frequent uploads that have slightly less of a point to them than the main channel. So thanks again for watching, like and subscribe to all my shit if you fancy it, and I'll see you all in a bit.